how about you leading them through the battery and coolant checks, okay?
Okay, great. Your Pontiac is equipped with a Delco Freedom battery, which does not need maintenance. Just check the green indicator for a good charge, and then take a look at the battery cables and connections every once in a while, and have them cleaned if there's any corrosion. And if the time ever comes to replace your battery, have your dealer install another Delco that meets the original specifications. You can check them in your owner's manual. You can check the coolant level by looking at the see-through coolant recovery tank located here on this Bonneville. This is important. Never open the radiator cap itself when the car is hot or even warm. Hot water under pressure is very dangerous. Stick with the coolant reservoir only. You can check coolant when the engine is warm or cool, but in the interest of safety, we suggest you check coolant only when you know the engine's cool. If the coolant level is low, remove the top from the recovery tank and add a mixture that's half water and half ethylene glycol antifreeze.
After you check the oil and coolant levels, take a look at the windshield washer fluid. On this Bonneville, it's over here in the front of the engine compartment. If it's low, replenish it with windshield washer solution.
What about the brake master cylinder?
Well, you could check it yourself, but we recommend that you leave it to the pros. Let them take care of your brakes, but do report any braking abnormality immediately.
Sounds reasonable. Let's skip on to the transaxle. On Pontiacs with an automatic transaxle, you do that check with the engine operating and the transaxle in the park position, but not after you've been doing any heavy driving. Be sure you're parked outdoors on a level spot with the parking brake set. Double check the parking brake. Let the engine idle until it reaches operating temperature, about 2 minutes, and then check the transaxle fluid with the engine still running. Like the oil dipstick, the transaxle dipstick is clearly marked. Here in the rear of the engine compartment on this model. Be careful when you remove it. There are belts and fans turning under the hood and the dipstick may be hot. The fluid itself should be at operating temperature when you check it. Check the transaxle fluid level according to the detailed instructions in your owner's manual, and if the level is low, add just enough Dexron 2 fluid to bring it up to full. This one is right where it should be. Like the engine oil level, the fluid level in the transaxle should never be overfilled. If you're not quite sure about how much fluid to add, let your service station do it, or check with your dealer's service advisor.
Performing these easy under-the-hood inspections shouldn't take you more than a few minutes or so, and doing them regularly means your car should be ready to respond when you want to hit that road.
Your new Pontiac talks to you constantly while it's operating. Here, and here, and here. Pontiac engineers have spent a lot of time and creative energy designing the most useful and responsive gauges and engine monitors in the business. They're easy to find and easy to read, but it's up to you to hear what they're saying. Beyond telling you how fast you're traveling or how far you've gone, the gauges in your new Pontiac will tell you lots of other things about the condition of the critical fluids and components under the hood, and whether everything's operating correctly. So let's see what all those lights, gauges, and other devices mean and do. The speedometer tells you how fast you're going, in miles or kilometers per hour. And the odometer shows how far the car has traveled since it's left the factory, in miles or kilometers.
On many models with manual transaxles, there's a shift indicator here that tells you when to shift to the next gear. Nearby is a cluster of safety and service-related lights. There's a brake system warning light, which goes on briefly to check the bulb whenever you start the car and should stay on until the parking brake is fully released. If the light ever goes on when the car is underway, pull over at the first safe spot and test your brakes immediately. If they don't seem to operate normally, call your dealer's service advisor for help. In this same instrument cluster are your turn indicator lights, your headlight bright beam indicator, and a service engine soon light, which comes on for a little while when you first start the car. If it comes on while you're driving, get to the dealers and have the computer command control emission system serviced.
But don't panic if this light comes on. It does not mean that there's something seriously wrong with your engine. It's simply a reminder that your emission control system needs service.
But don't ignore it either, because keeping your emission system in top shape is important for peak performance, drivability, and lower operating costs. The fuel gauge, of course, tells you how much gas is in the tank. Depending on the kind of Pontiac you drive, it'll look like this, or this. Your car's coolant temperature light keeps an eye on engine operating temperature and will light up only if the car starts to overheat. If you have this optional coolant temperature gauge, the 260-degree mark indicates overheating. Pay particular attention to the coolant temperature when the weather is extremely hot or extremely cold. Those are the conditions most likely to put a strain on your cooling system. The oil pressure light should come on anytime oil pressure is low. It should also be lit anytime the ignition is on and the engine is not operating. This optional gauge shows the operating oil pressure. The needle should read between 20 and 60 under normal driving conditions. Remember that the light or gauge monitors oil pressure, not oil level. The only way to check your oil level is with the dipstick.
The optional voltmeter warns you if your charging system isn't properly charging your battery. As long as the meter reads in the safe range shown here, your charging system's operating up to grade. Another important gauge is this optional tachometer. It monitors the thousands of times per minute your engine's crankshaft revolves. Under normal driving conditions, the tach should show speeds from 2,500 to 3,500 RPM, or revolutions per minute. As we said earlier, your car talks to you through the lights and gauges on your instrument panel. Always check them after starting up, and then glance at the panel periodically while you're driving too. Whenever we talk to new car owners like you or to dealership service managers, something everyone seems interested in knowing about are auto fuses and circuit breakers, which are designed to protect your new car's electrical system from damage caused by electrical overload. On most new Pontiacs, the fuse panel is easily accessed, right here behind the glove box door, or here alongside the steering wheel, or here inside the engine compartment. See, all clearly marked. Even has a fuse puller and a set of replacement fuses. This is a great feature.
Right. Now let's demonstrate how to change a fuse, step by easy step. If you think you have a fuse-related problem, the first step to correcting it is finding the fuse panel. Check the owner's manual in sections 5 and 6 for exact location on the car you drive. On this Grand Prix, for example, it's here under the right side of the instrument panel, right behind the glove compartment door. Remove the access cover and use the diagram as your guide to the blown fuse. Next, use the fuse puller to remove the suspect fuse and then check it to confirm that it is indeed blown. A good fuse like this one has a clean, intact wire filament in the center. A blown fuse will have a separated filament like this and may be discolored as well. If that's the case, use the puller to replace a fuse of the same amperage. The way to tell is simply to match the color.
It's a good idea to keep spare fuses in your car in case of emergency. Your local auto supply store or your dealer's service advisor can recommend a good selection of spares. But remember, fuses blow to protect the car from electrical overload. That is, because of a problem. So if you replace a blown fuse and it blows again within a short while, have your dealer check the car. Don't just keep replacing fuses. If you're like most new Pontiac owners, one of the reasons you bought your new car was because you like the way it looks, and you're going to do everything you can to keep it looking good. Your owner's manual has a special appearance care section, right here, that's worth checking out carefully. It explains clearly how to keep your car looking great and what tools and cleaning products to use.
We'd love to take a break and show you how to do a proper top-to-bottom car wash, but we can't really take the time. Just remember to follow the appearance care guidelines in the owner's manual and wash from the top of the car down toward the ground. Save the wheels and tires for last.
That's interesting. Why from top to bottom?
Simple. Water flows down, which will carry grit along with it. And the grittiest grit is on the lower part of the car, especially around the wheels.
Makes sense. Now, here's some tips for minimizing the effects of what our engineers call roadway attack, the appearance hazards your car has to endure while you're on the road. Rust is your car's worst enemy, and even small dings and scratches can lead to a rust spot that can spread and become a much more serious problem. The best way to guard against rust is by washing the car regularly with GM Armor All products, especially during the winter months, and by waxing it or having it waxed at least twice a year to keep it looking good. Some chemical deposits, particularly tar, won't come off with normal washing, and they can damage your car's finish. You can remove them with a special cleaner like this GM product. If you give it a try and that doesn't remove the deposit, ask your service advisor what to do. But don't ever use abrasive cleansers on your car's finish or on any of the metal trim. It's good to hand wash your car, But if you're in the habit of taking your car to the local car wash, check with the manager about their use of any abrasive cleaning brushes. They can damage your tire sidewalls and alloy wheels.
So there you have it.
Important car care facts and tips you need to know in order to get peak performance from your new Pontiac. There are many other things you should know about your Pontiac, and you'll find them in your owner's manual.
Be sure to read the owner's manual. It shows you how you can fully enjoy many features built into the car, and it's filled with important safety warnings, facts, driving tips, and other ideas. Just what you need to get the most from your Pontiac experience.
We hope you've enjoyed this videotape, and we hope you'll give us your feedback to confirm that we're doing a good job building, delivering, and servicing your new car, and to help us make any necessary improvements.
You can talk to us directly by speaking with one of our service advisors. You may also receive a GM survey, which will ask you about the delivery process. Was the car you picked up in top condition, for example, with everything in order? And about the kind of service provided by the dealership service department, whether you're completely satisfied with the work performed on your car.
We want to do everything possible to earn your very satisfied rating, and that's why your feedback is so important. If there are things we can do to improve, please tell us now with a call to the dealership, and we'll work to make the right adjustment. Again, we hope you've enjoyed this tape and found it useful. We know you're going to enjoy owning and driving your new Pontiac.
And now it's your turn. So go ahead, get in, buckle up, and grab some of that great Pontiac excitement. Have fun and take care of your new car. And take care of yourself, okay? We'll see you real soon.
We build excitement.